friends, it's been a little minute since we have uploaded a video, but we are here. And in today's video, I kind of want to talk about just slowing down in general and knowing when to take breaks and just giving yourself a little bit of time to get through life, like just making things more simple and again, just slowing down. And I really want to start off with that I have been moving. I just moved back home to my parents, and it has been a process. Moving is always a little bit stressful, or a lot, depending on how much stuff you have. But I kind of want to share this because it really fits in with the topic for today of slowing down and making things more simple. So I was personally really struggling with living alone. I had been living alone the last like 3 years, and it wasn't always easy. It was great because I got to have privacy and I got to kind of do things when I wanted and how I wanted. But honestly, y'all, like I was super struggling financially. Like it was really difficult to feel like everything was on my plate, like rent, utilities, just taking care of little things around my apartment. And I was really struggling, and I felt like I personally couldn't get a breath of fresh air. Like I felt like I couldn't get a break, and I kind of had to ask myself, okay, how can I make this scenario more simple for myself? How can I make it so that I don't feel like I'm so tight on money, that that I don't have to feel like I'm going paycheck to paycheck. And for me, that ended up being moving back home because I have a lot more support here, and I'm able to focus on just paying things off. Like my credit card debt was getting insane, and it wasn't even like me using it. It was like the interest building up and me only paying minimum payments because that's all I could do when I was living alone. So that for me was the biggest decision that I could make to make my life so much more simple, right? And it's not always ideal to move back home, obviously, especially the older we get. I think sometimes it's hard to kind of compromise that independence and like that the privacy and like the freedom of being able to do what you want. But sometimes I feel like we have to be in a position where we ask ourselves, like, okay, what am I worth sacrificing? What am I worth, or what's worth sacrificing? What's worth compromising? What's worth my happiness, right? Because I could have sat there and made it work, but then I would have struggled. And I'm like, I am personally tired of struggling, right? So for me, making this decision was really the most simple thing that I could do to make my finances get to the point where I want it to be able to pay off, this debt, the credit card debt, the student loans, the car payment, all of that. I can do that at home because now I don't have to pay for rent. And so I know not everyone has that as a backup option if you're in a similar scenario where you're like, I have things to pay for and I'm not able to because I live alone, or even if you have roommates, it's so difficult, right? And I know not everyone has the ability to just move back home in that situation, but whatever it is that you're experiencing right now, I feel like that's the theme that's kind of coming up for me, is that like, how do we simplify things, right? Like if you're, I don't know, you're stressed at your job, or if you feel like you're not getting enough time for self-care, like what are ways we can just simplify our life? How can we simplify, what it is that we're experiencing, and how do we make this easier for ourselves? Because you know what, y'all, we are not here to struggle. We weren't born to just struggle our whole life. Like I am not here for it. And yeah, I just think it's all about finding like a little bit of that balance. So yes, a perfect example here. Like I live at home, and it's not just me and my parents. My brother lives here, my sister-in-law live here, the 3 kids live here. And yeah, it'll be interesting because it's just a lot of people, and I'm used to just being alone, at least in the last 3 years I have. But I'm excited. Like I would rather be with people who I want to be around and people who I love, who I know also love me, than and be able to pay off my debt and feel very confident in my finances right now than me have the privacy, right? Because that's my ego getting in the way of what's going to help me ultimately down the road. And so I'd rather have that than live alone and like be struggling check to check. Because the year that I had last year was not okay. It was really difficult. For the first time ever, I had a meltdown about money. I was crying. Someone's trying to get in. Alrighty. I lost my train of thought because one of the kids broke into the room, but it's okay. It's like things like this where I'm telling myself, this is going to be worth it. Like, and I get to spend time with my family, and, time is not granted, tomorrow's not granted. Like, all we have is this moment. So I think kind of being in that mentality too of like, okay, how can I make things more simple, but at the same time express myself the way I want to and make time for things that I want to do in a way where it feels aligned still. And so I just really encourage anyone watching, like, what is something in your life that you can make more simple that feels complicated right now? Because again, we did not come down here to struggle. I don't anticipate things to always be easy, but I genuinely feel like a lot of the time the things that we struggle with are things that we kind of put onto ourselves, or at least I can definitely say that's true for myself. Like, I'm the one who racked up the credit card debt. I'm the one who chose to, prior to moving back home, live in an expensive apartment. I'm the one who chose downtown out of like all the cities I could live in Colorado. I'm the one who chose to max out the cards, right? I'm the one who chose to get the car, and now I have the loan, all those things. So I can definitely say that I take responsibility for kind of the stress that I have brought upon myself, but it's also really empowering to feel like, you know what? Yes, even though I made certain decisions, I can choose better. I can choose different outcomes. I can choose a different course of action, right? Or a different course of path, whatever that term is. And that makes me feel good because it's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to choose to move back home, and I have a plan, but it's not a strict plan because I still want to be in flow. I want to let the universe kind of bring me whatever abundance and blessings that it wants to bring me. But it's like, okay, if I, am willing to stay here for 6 months to a year, not only can I pay off all that credit card debt and allow myself to be free from that bondage, I can also rack up my savings and I can feel confident and more grounded and secure in my finances. And so I'm sure so many people can relate because in this economy, okay, it is a little bit difficult, but we can make choices. We don't have to struggle. And so I just feel like there's so many ways that we can simplify our life, whether it's where you're living, or maybe it's the self-care, or it's, you feel like you don't have time to do the things that you want to do. What's one little thing? And I feel like too, the other thing that I want to talk about that comes up for me is I can overcomplicate things really easy. Like, it's easy for me to be like, okay, I need to do this, and this by this day. And if I don't, sometimes I feel bad or I feel behind. And I think that's another thing that is an example of things that we can simplify is like, okay, what do I really need to do this week? It can even be simplifying your schedule, right? Do you need to get all those tasks on your to-do list done this week? Or are there things that you can move to next week? Are there things you can do next month? So these are just little things that I'm personally working on in my life of just, okay, how can I simplify these areas so that I feel, that things are more in flow, so I feel less stressed, so I feel like I'm more productive, happier, in balance, all of that. And a couple of things that come up even with that for me too, and I'm sure some can relate, is like asking for help where it counts. And it's okay to do that, right? We don't have to be so independent all the time. Like, I know I like to do things by myself pretty often, and it's not even that I don't like to ask for help, it's that I like to do it myself. It's really more of that, but it's okay to ask for help. We don't always have to be so independent. And I definitely learned the hard way recently because I sprained my ankle in the middle of my move, and it wasn't necessarily while I was moving. I just have been moving the past couple weeks, and I still have quite a bit that I need to get done. And I've also been training for a marathon, and I've just been so go, 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 go. And I haven't been taking breaks and allowing myself time to recover mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all that. Like, I just have not been giving myself breaks. I sprained my ankle, obviously because I wasn't paying attention to where I was running. But I also feel like that was from the universe of like, girl, slow down. Take it easy. You don't have to get all these things done right away. It's okay for you to take breaks. It doesn't make you lazy. It doesn't make you not productive. Like, it's okay to slow down. So learn from me. If you've been go, 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 and you haven't been taking breaks, to just give yourself that time, because sometimes something, God forbid, we don't want anything to happen to any of us, but something might happen like that where you sprain an ankle, or you, I don't know, hurt yourself at the gym, where then you're forced to then relax or sit at home and just sit with yourself. And I really do think that that's a big thing. If we're not listening to the signs, or we're not listening to ourselves, I think sometimes spirit or universe or God, whatever you believe in, interferes, and for all the right reasons. Because if we're not giving ourselves breaks, we're not showing up as our best self, whether it's whatever, in anything that we do. So I think taking breaks here is really important. And in addition to that, asking for help, because it's okay to do that as well. You don't have to carry everything on your shoulders. You know, you don't have to do it all by yourself. And that literally just happened to me. Like, I again like to do things by myself, and it was a little bit uncomfortable for me to be as taken care of as I have been the past week. Like, you know, family making food for me, and them, you know, helping me get up the stairs, and just offering to even help me get in the shower. Like, things like that for me feel really not, it's not that it's hard, but it doesn't feel intuitive. It doesn't feel intuitive for me to receive. It's not natural. That's a better word. It's not natural for me to be as receiving of that type of help, but it's okay. And so I just really wanted to emphasize in this video, and especially because it just is so relevant to me right now, of just slowing down, taking breaks, and just trying to make things more simple for yourself so that things feel more in flow, things feel more at ease, and that you're not feeling as stressed or pressured with what you have going on in your life. So that is all that I have for today's video. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded, but it has just been a really crazy 2024 for me so far, between moving and just, I had extreme burnout at the start of the year because again, it's just all into that theme for me right now. But I was just trying to do so much with my YouTube channel, posting multiple times per week, doing a podcast, trying to write my book, starting a business, just doing so many things. So I feel like for me, really, this year has been forcing me to slow down. And that's not always easy for me, but I'm really seeing the importance of it right now, because when I don't slow down and take breaks, I see how much more chaotic things actually get in my life. And so I just wanted to share that with you all. I hope everyone is having an amazing 2024. It's about to be summer. Let me know down in the comments what's one thing that you can do to simplify your life right now and make things easier for you. I would love to hear from you all in the comments. I would love for all of us to keep each other accountable, and I'll see you in the next one.